The average British household throws away £700 worth of food every single year. That is not a guess. WRAP published those figures in 2023. 700 quid straight into the bin. Meanwhile, your grandmother fed a family of 6 on a fraction of that and never once scraped a full plate into the rubbish. Number 18 on this list is so effective that professional chefs now charge you extra for it in restaurants, even though it costs absolutely nothing at home. And number 7 was quietly removed from school home economics classes in the 1990s because it made store-bought products look ridiculous by comparison. These 25 tricks are not complicated. They do not require fancy gadgets or expensive ingredients. They require knowledge. Knowledge that was passed across kitchen tables for generations until supermarkets and food brands convinced us we needed their products instead. Before we start, hit that subscribe button because some of these tricks will change how you cook tonight. Let us count down the 25 smartest British kitchen tricks to cook faster with less waste. Number 25. Freezing herbs in olive oil. Fresh herbs from the garden or the shop go limp and brown within days. Your money wilts right along with them. But if you chop those herbs while they are fresh, pack them into ice cube trays, and cover each compartment with olive oil, you create flavor bombs that last months in the freezer. The oil prevents freezer burn and locks in the volatile oils that give herbs their taste: basil, rosemary, thyme, parsley. Each cube drops straight into a hot pan. No defrosting, no waste. A bunch of fresh basil from Tesco costs about £1 and goes off in 4 days. Frozen into oil cubes, it lasts until spring. You get instant flavor and zero waste from something that would have ended up in the compost bin by Wednesday. Your grandmother dried her herbs on the windowsill. This is the modern version of her instinct to preserve everything. Number 24. The cheese rind stock pot. Every time you finish a block of Parmesan or a wedge of hard cheese, that rind goes in the bin. But those rinds are concentrated flavor. Italian grandmothers have known this for centuries, and smart British cooks learned it from them. Drop cheese rinds into soups, stews, or risottos while they simmer. The rind softens and melts slowly, releasing umami and body into the liquid. A single Parmesan rind can transform a basic vegetable soup into something that tastes like it's simmered for days. Keep a bag in the freezer and add rinds as you go. When it is soup day, reach in and grab one. You are adding depth that would otherwise cost you an extra stock cube or a splash of wine. That is flavor rescued from the bin. Number 23. Boiling the kettle first. This sounds too simple to matter, but it saves more time than most gadgets in your kitchen. When a recipe calls for boiling water, whether for pasta, blanching vegetables, or making stock, do not fill the pot from the cold tap and wait. Boil the kettle first and pour already hot water into the pan. A full kettle boils in about 3 minutes. A cold pot of water on the hob takes 10 to 15. You have just saved yourself 10 minutes of standing around waiting. Multiply that across every meal, every week, and you are saving hours each month. British kitchens are built around the kettle. We boil it 20 times a day for tea. Using that same kettle for cooking is so obvious, it is almost embarrassing that we forget. Your mum knew this. She had that kettle going before she even decided what was for tea. Number 22. Stale breadcrumbs. Before supermarkets sold golden breadcrumbs in cardboard tubes for 2 quid, every kitchen had a jar of homemade breadcrumbs sitting by the stove. When bread went stale, and bread always went stale in the days before plastic wrapping and preservatives, your grandmother would grate it by hand or blitz it and store the crumbs in a jar. Those crumbs went into everything: coating fish before frying, topping macaroni cheese for a golden crust, binding meatballs and stuffing, stretching a casserole to feed one more mouth. A loaf that had gone past sandwich stage became the most versatile ingredient in the kitchen. Throwing away stale bread would have been unthinkable. Now we bin 24 million slices a day in Britain. 24 million. Those breadcrumbs were not just thrifty, they were better than anything Paxo puts in a box. Number 21. The one-pot pasta method. Traditional pasta cooking wastes liters of water. You boil a massive pot, cook the pasta, then pour all that starchy water down the drain. But if you cook pasta in just enough water to cover it, in the same pan as your sauce, something remarkable happens. The starch that would have gone down the plug hole instead thickens your sauce. It clings to every strand. Italian chefs call this technique essential, and British home cooks are only just catching on. Use a wide pan. Add your pasta, sauce ingredients, and just enough water. Everything cooks together in 12 minutes. One pan, one wash up. Richer sauce, less water, less energy, less time. The trick is stirring regularly so nothing sticks. This single method eliminates the colander, the extra pot, and about 10 minutes of waiting for water to boil. Number 20. Reviving wilted spring onions. Spring onions wilt in the fridge faster than almost anything else. Within 2 days, they are sad, floppy, and headed for the bin. But drop them into a glass of cold water for 30 minutes and they come back to life. The cells rehydrate. The green tips stand upright. They snap when you bend them. This works because wilting is simply water loss, not decay. As long as the onion has not actually gone off, cold water reverses the damage completely. The same trick works for celery, asparagus, and most leafy herbs. A glass of water. 30 minutes. Vegetables saved. This is the kind of quiet kitchen knowledge that used to be common sense. Your grandmother would never have thrown out a spring onion that just needed a drink. Number 19. Batch cooking gravy. Here is a trick that saves both time and money every single week. When you make a Sunday roast, do not just make enough gravy for one meal. Make triple the amount. Pour the extra into ice cube trays or small containers and freeze it. Each cube is a ready-made sauce base for midweek meals. Shepherd's pie. Casseroles. A quick gravy for bangers and mash on a Tuesday when you cannot be bothered to start from scratch. Real gravy made from meat drippings and stock freezes beautifully and tastes 10 times better than Bisto granules. A tub of Bisto costs about £2. Your leftover gravy costs nothing. You have already paid for the roast. This is free flavor sitting in your freezer, waiting to rescue a tired weeknight tea. First, pattern break. Now here is something most people get completely wrong. Storing tomatoes in the fridge kills their flavor. Food scientists at the University of Florida proved this in 2016. Cold temperatures shut down the genes responsible for producing the volatile compounds that make tomatoes taste like tomatoes. After just 3 days in the fridge, those flavor compounds drop by up to 65%. Your grandmother kept tomatoes on the windowsill in a bowl, and every food scientist now agrees she was right. The fridge makes them mealy, bland, and watery. Room temperature keeps them sweet and fragrant. The only time a tomato should see the inside of a fridge is if it is already cut. Whole tomatoes live on the counter, always. Supermarkets refrigerate them for shelf life, not for flavor. You are undoing their damage every time you leave them out. Number 17. Parmesan rind crisps. Those cheese rinds from number 24 have another use entirely. Slice them thin, lay them on baking parchment, and bake at 200 degrees for 8 minutes. They puff up and turn into crispy, salty, intensely savory chips. Better than any crisp in a packet. You can crumble them over salads, soups, or eat them straight. This turns literal rubbish into a snack that restaurants sell for £6 as a starter. The rind is just concentrated aged cheese. When heat hits it, the proteins and fats crisp up exactly like a cheese toastie on steroids. You have been throwing away one of the best snacks in your kitchen for years. Number 16. The cold pan start for bacon. Most people heat the pan first, then add bacon. The rashers hit the hot surface, contract immediately, curl up and cook unevenly. The edges burn while the middle stays pale. But if you lay the bacon in a cold pan and then turn on the heat, the fat renders slowly and evenly as the temperature rises. The rashers stay flat. The fat crisps uniformly. The meat cooks through without burning. This takes the same amount of time but produces dramatically better results. No oil needed either. The bacon's own fat does all the work. This was standard practice in every British kitchen before non-stick pans made people lazy about technique. Your nan's bacon was perfect because she started cold and let the pan do the work. Number 15. Vegetable peel stock, onion skins, carrot tops, celery leaves, potato peelings, mushroom stems. Every time you prepare vegetables, keep a bag in the freezer and toss in the offcuts. When the bag is full, empty it into a pot, cover with water, add a bay leaf and a few peppercorns, and simmer for an hour. Strain it, and you have a rich vegetable stock that cost absolutely nothing. It tastes better than any stock cube because it is made from real vegetables, not salt and flavoring. One bag of scraps makes about 2 liters of stock. That is the base for soups, risottos, and sauces for the entire week. Professional kitchens do this as standard practice. They call it mise en place economics. Your grandmother called it not being wasteful. Number 14. The upside-down container trick. Sour cream, yogurt, cottage cheese. Anything in a tub that goes off quickly lasts significantly longer if you store it upside down in the fridge. Flipping the container creates a vacuum seal where the product meets the lid, reducing the amount of oxygen that reaches the surface. Oxygen is what causes mold and spoilage. Less oxygen, slower decay. A tub of sour cream stored normally lasts about a week after opening. Stored upside down, it can last 2 to 3 weeks. This is basic food science applied with zero effort. Just turn the tub over when you put it back. Your grandmother did not have this specific trick because she did not have plastic tubs, but she had the same instinct. Cover everything, seal everything, keep air out. Second pattern break. Controversy incoming. The microwave is not the enemy of good cooking. Your grandmother might disagree, but hear this out. For reheating leftovers, the microwave preserves more nutrients than the oven or the hob because the cooking time is shorter. Less time exposed to heat means less vitamin breakdown. A study published in the Journal of Food Science found that microwaved vegetables retained up to 90% of their vitamin C compared to 60% when boiled. The microwave also uses roughly 80% less energy than a conventional oven. For melting butter, softening onions, and heating milk for sauces, it saves minutes every single time. The trick is using it strategically, not as a replacement for proper cooking, but as a tool that handles the boring prep work while you focus on the actual dish. Smart cooks use every tool available. Snobbery about microwaves costs you time and energy. Number 12. Lemon juice on cut fruit. Apples, pears, avocados, bananas. Cut them open and they turn brown within minutes. That browning is oxidation, an enzyme reacting with oxygen. A squeeze of lemon juice stops it dead. The citric acid denatures the enzyme responsible for browning, keeping cut fruit looking fresh for hours. This means you can prepare fruit salad in the morning and serve it at tea time without it looking like it has been sitting in a hospital waiting room. A single lemon costs about 30 pence and treats enough fruit for a week. Children are far more likely to eat fruit that looks bright and fresh rather than sad and brown. This is the oldest preservation trick in the book, and it still works better than any commercial anti-browning spray. Number 11. The wooden spoon over a boiling pot. When pasta or rice threatens to boil over, lay a wooden spoon across the top of the pot. The starchy foam hits the dry wooden surface and the bubbles collapse on contact. The water calms down. No mess on the hob. No frantic grabbing for the dial. The science is straightforward. The wooden spoon breaks the surface tension of the bubbles, and its lower temperature compared to the steam causes the foam to destabilize. This trick has been in British kitchens for generations and it works every single time. No need to hover over the pot. No need to turn the heat down and slow your cooking. Just a wooden spoon doing what it has always done. Quietly solving problems. Number 10. Freezing leftover wine in ice cubes. If you have wine left in the bottle and nobody is going to drink it, do not pour it away. Pour it into ice cube trays and freeze it. Each cube is a perfect splash for deglazing pans, enriching sauces, or adding depth to stews. Red wine cubes go into beef casseroles. White wine cubes go into risottos and cream sauces. A single cube is roughly 2 tablespoons, exactly the right amount for a quick pan sauce. A bottle of cooking wine from Tesco costs about £4. Your leftover wine costs nothing because you have already bought it. This is free flavor storage. Some families keep bags of wine cubes in the freezer the way their grandmothers kept that dripping jar on the stove. Different generation, same principle. Number 9. Soaking onions in cold water before slicing. If cutting onions makes you cry every time, soak them in cold water for 15 minutes before you start. The cold water reduces the concentration of syn-propanethyl S oxide, the volatile compound that irritates your eyes. The result is fewer tears and faster prep. No goggles, no burning candles, no holding bread in your mouth, just cold water and a sharp knife. This also works if you chill the onion in the fridge for 30 minutes beforehand. The cold slows the release of the irritant. Either way, you cut faster because you're not stopping every 30 seconds to wipe your eyes. Professional kitchens keep onions cold for exactly this reason. Speed is everything when you are feeding hundreds. Number 8. The tea towel lid seal for rice. Perfect rice requires one thing above all else: steam, and steam requires a proper seal. If your saucepan lid does not fit tightly, steam escapes, the water evaporates too fast, and the rice comes out dry or unevenly cooked. The fix is ancient and brilliant. Place a clean tea towel over the pot, then press the lid down on top. The cloth absorbs excess moisture while creating a perfect seal that traps steam inside. Every grain cooks evenly. No stirring, no checking, no sticky mess. The tea towel also catches condensation that would otherwise drip back into the rice and make it soggy. This is how rice has been cooked across Asia and the Middle East for centuries. British cooks who adopted this trick never went back to watching the pot. Third pattern break. Here is something the food industry does not want you thinking about. Those pre-chopped vegetables in plastic bags at the supermarket cost on average 3 times more per kilo than whole vegetables. You are paying for someone to do 2 minutes of knife work. A whole butternut squash costs about £1. Pre-chopped butternut squash costs £3 for less actual product. The pre-chopped versions also spoil faster because cutting exposes more surface area to bacteria. And the plastic packaging creates waste that whole vegetables do not. 2 minutes with a knife saves you £2 and reduces your plastic waste. Your grandmother would be baffled by the concept of paying someone to chop a carrot. She would have called it daylight robbery. She would have been right. Number 6. Keeping ginger in the freezer. Fresh ginger root dries out and goes moldy in the fridge within a week or 2. But frozen ginger lasts for months and is actually easier to use. When you need ginger for a recipe, pull it from the freezer and grate it directly on a microplane while still frozen. It grates into fine, fluffy shreds instead of the stringy, fibrous mess you get from fresh. No peeling needed either. The frozen skin grates away to nothing. A single root of ginger costs about 50 pence and lasts 3 months in the freezer instead of 10 days in the fridge. Better texture, less waste. No rush to use it before it goes off. Number 5. The salt and newspaper trick for cast iron. Before chemical oven cleaners and non-stick coatings, every British kitchen had cast iron pans that lasted decades. Cleaning them was simple. While the pan was still warm, pour in coarse salt and scrub with a ball of newspaper. The salt acts as an abrasive that lifts stuck food. The newspaper absorbs grease. Rinse briefly with hot water. Wipe dry. Done. No soap, no scrubbing for 20 minutes. No ruining the pan's seasoning. This method takes about 90 seconds. It was standard practice in farmhouse kitchens where cast iron was the only option, and looking after your pans meant they would outlast you. Some of those pans are still in use today, passed down through 3 generations because they were cleaned properly. That is zero waste over a lifetime. Number 4. Blooming spices in hot oil. If your curries and stews taste flat even though you are using the right spices, this is the trick you are missing. Before adding any liquid, toast your ground spices in hot oil for 30 to 60 seconds. Cumin, coriander, turmeric, garam masala. The heat activates the fat-soluble flavor compounds that water cannot reach. The spices release their essential oils into the cooking fat, deepening the color, and intensifying the flavor of everything that follows. This is called blooming, and it is the single biggest difference between a curry that tastes homemade and one that tastes like it came out of a jar. Every Indian restaurant in Britain does this. The spice aisle at Tesco sells you the ingredients. This trick is what makes them actually work. Number 3. Aquafaba from chickpea tins. That cloudy liquid in a tin of chickpeas is not waste. It is a miracle ingredient. Drain it into a bowl and whip it with an electric mixer for about 8 minutes. It turns into stiff, glossy peaks that look and behave exactly like whipped egg whites. It is called aquafaba, and it works because the proteins and starches leached from the chickpeas during cooking mimic the structure of egg whites when whipped. You can fold it into mousses, use it as a base for meringues, or make cocktails that need egg white foam. A tin of chickpeas costs about 60 pence. You get the chickpeas for dinner and a free egg white substitute for pudding. Professional vegan bakeries charge premium prices for aquafaba meringues. You can make them from the liquid you use to pour down the sink. Number 2. Regrowing spring onions in water. After you use spring onions, keep the root ends. Stand them in a glass of water on the windowsill. Within 5 days, they regrow. New green shoots appear and keep growing as long as you change the water every couple of days. One bunch of spring onions from the shop becomes a continuous supply that lasts weeks. This is not gardening. This is the plant doing what it naturally wants to do. The root system is still alive, and the cells in the white base contain everything needed to produce new growth. Some people have kept the same spring onion roots going for months, harvesting the green tops and letting them regrow over and over. A 50-pence bunch that regenerates itself. That is the kind of kitchen economy that would have made your grandmother proud. Number 1. The Sunday cookup. This is not a single trick. It is the trick that ties everything else together. Every Sunday, spend one focused hour in the kitchen. Roast a tray of vegetables. Cook a large batch of rice or grains. Make a pot of soup from the week's scraps. Prepare a big sauce or curry base. Portion everything into containers for the fridge and freezer. That single hour of cooking replaces 5 separate midweek cooking sessions. It eliminates the 6 p.m. panic of what is for tea. It stops the desperate takeaway order. It means leftovers become ingredients instead of waste. Every culture that cooks well does some version of this. The Sunday roast was always Britain's version. The joint fed Sunday dinner, cold cuts made Monday sandwiches, the bones made Tuesday stock, and the dripping carried you through the week. We forgot the system when we started treating every meal as a separate event. The trick was never any single recipe. The trick was thinking ahead. Try one of these this week, just one. The frozen herb cubes, the vegetable peel stock, the spring onion regrowth. Then come back and tell me which one changed the way your kitchen works. Share your pick in the comments. I want to know if the cold pan bacon gets more love than the aquafaba trick, because these were never secrets. They were common sense that got buried under convenience packaging and supermarket marketing. Your grandmother knew. Now you know too.